And good morning, everybody. Welcome, Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Bruce, how are you this morning?
Good. Coming off a nice little overtime win for the Nuggets last night against the Rockets.
Yeah.
It seems to me, Eric, and you and I haven't discussed this yet, but we can bounce it off each other this morning. Oklahoma City, Denver, Houston, San Antonio. That's where I'm going with the top of the West right now. San Antonio's got a little distance, still to make up, but I like what they're doing. And I think those four teams are going to be the teams. I just want to see the Nuggets get healthy. I want to see Gordon get back. I want to see Brown get back. And I want to see what they look like with those guys more than anything else, adding to their ability to defend. Those are two key defenders for that basketball team, which is a better defensive team this year than they have been, but still are prone to lapses at times.
If I would have told you that an NBA team, any NBA team, would be missing 40% of its starting lineup,
I hear you,
and go, I don't know, 8-3 in its last 11, you would take that all day.
You're right. You're absolutely right. I give them their due.
What would their record be last year, missing two starters?
No.
If they had Gordon and Brown out, what would this team look like?
With their lack of depth?
Correct.
Oh, my God.
They'd be fortunate to be 6-5.
Yeah, they'd be maybe right around 500, down around 7th in the conference. Yeah, I would agree with that. It's going to all boil down to, at some point, winning a playoff series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. At some point, and there may be, teams before that, but at some point they're going to meet Oklahoma City, and it's going to be a question of, can they finish the job that they started a year ago? And they're much better suited to finish the job this year than they were a year ago. So we'll see.
It's not like they're missing any offense with Brown and Gordon out.
No, although Gordon's was off to a tremendous offensive start this year, no question about it.
Right. So, and now we might be dealing with a Peyton Watson injury.
Who has been good.
And you know what? When you're wrong, just come out and say it. Beginning of the season, I told you I'd seen enough of Peyton Watson.
Fair enough.
And you know what? As of right now, I was wrong.
Yeah, he's been an important piece right now as they've kind of bridged this gap without those two players. So, but a nice win last night. Get it in overtime, get it at home against a team that's probably going to be there at the end of the season. So,
no question. Yeah. All right, I want to tell you about Roller Auction, the leader in Colorado auctions for over 45 years today. Planet Open Box, they are going to be having an auction for last-minute Christmas and Hanukkah gifts. And by the way, happy Hanukkah to everybody who celebrates Hanukkah. So what kind of gifts can you get? Electronics, toys, small appliances, and a whole lot more. Online bidding is started at rollerauction.com. And don't forget to go to rollerauction.com to learn about upcoming auctions. Get what you want at the price you want today at Roller Auction. Time now for the lead.
The lead is presented by Smokin' Dave's Barbecue. It is not just the best barbecue in town, it is one of the best restaurants in town. You can find Smokin' Dave's Barbecue off 36th and Pecos.
Broncos have placed Brandon Jones on IR with a pectoral injury, which means he has to miss the next 4 games. Problem is, according to Mike Kliss, injury is worse with Jones than it was with Pat Surtain, who suffered the same injury, went on IR for 4 weeks, and then returned. Kliss also says Jones is out indefinitely, and sources have told him that Jones might need season-ending surgery. How significant is this loss, and how good do you feel with P.J. Locke taking Jones's place in the starting lineup with Key, Skinner, Turner-Yell backing up Locke?
I think their depth is impressive and it's talented. That much is for sure. But anytime that you break up a safety tandem that is generally regarded as the best in the league, or at least in the discussion, there's a little bit of a speed bump that comes there. There's no question. The dynamic between Jones and Hufanga had been special all season long. This is a plug and play league, and the next guy up, and all of those cliches that go there. They've got guys that can play, and they've proven that. Devon Keys has been their best special teams player all season long. So they've got some depth there that helps them. But yeah, it's the type of thing you'd rather not deal with. But this is the NFL, and frankly, the Broncos haven't had to pay that piper very much this year. J.K. Dobbins obviously continues to be out. Ben Powers is ready to return, but he's missed 9 games. There's been a couple, but if you compare the Broncos to other teams around the NFL, they have had for another year, knock on wood, a relatively healthy run this season.
I am totally setting myself up here because I'm guessing you probably know the answer. I'm kind of hoping that you don't, so I can make my point.
Sure.
You were not here for the Super Bowl season in 2015.
No.
I'm guessing you can rattle off over half of the starters on defense from that 2015 team. Who were the starting 2 safeties?
TJ Ward and Brent.
Bingo. And that was my whole point.
Right.
That was my whole point. Everybody seems to forget about Darian Stewart.
Yeah.
And Darian Stewart was dynamite in that Super Bowl season. But everybody remembers TJ Ward.
Yep.
Just like with this team. Everybody knows about Hufanga. And everybody seems to forget about Brandon Jones, who has been instrumental, or at least a big piece, like all the other 10 pieces, with the way this defense is played.
Yep.
Is it fair to say that this guy has been overlooked on how much he has contributed this year?
Because
yes, when you talk about the Broncos defense.
Yes, way you're asking it, yes. I get where you're coming from. I think that he is very much appreciated in an understated way. Hufanga is a player that plays with great energy and obviousness. You always know where he is. He's blowing up plays. He's unbelievable in the run game. I mean,
TJ Ward. You're
absolutely
summing up TJ Ward.
Absolutely.
Here's another way to put it, Bruce. Hufanga plays with his hair on fire inside his helmet and outside of it.
Yeah. And he's got a lot of hair to be on fire with, too.
Yeah, right.
It's an impressive mane. But Brandon Jones has been equally as important in a more understated way. The consistency that the two of them have, the communication the two of them have, the ability to cover in a single high when Hufanga is down doing other things closer to the line of scrimmage. There's a lot of things that go into what Brandon Jones brings to this defense that has been very valuable. He's been, everyone talks about, and rightfully so, because they've made some tremendous decisions in guys that they brought in, John Franklin Myers and Zach Allen and Malcolm Roach, the list goes on and on. But Brandon Jones is a quiet, unassuming guy that just is a damn good football player.
Mm-hmm.
Goes up every single week and plays his ass off without a lot of fanfare, and he doesn't seek the fanfare or the spotlight.
Right.
So yes, it hurts, but at least this is a Broncos team that has done a good job understanding the need to build depth in key spots. And they've done that and are able, in PJ Locke, to plug in a guy that has been a starter in this defense for Vance Joseph.
Let me ask you, when the Broncos brought in Brandon Jones, we knew PJ Locke was going to be out of the starting lineup. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, at some point, right.
With that, did you look at that move not so much as a knock on Brandon Jones, but did you look at that move and say, I think PJ Locke is more than fine. Why are they bringing in Brandon Jones?
No,
Really?
because and here's why. Because I had the information of what they thought about Justin Simmons. When you part with a Justin Simmons, and the way that we all thought about Justin Simmons as a borderline Pro Bowl, All-Pro type of safety, you started to see where they were going with things. They know that they needed to improve in that area. So to answer your question.
Well, but hold on a second.
Okay.
One reason why they didn't bring back Justin Simmons is because I don't think Sean Payton for a minute believes one of your safeties should be one of your higher paid players.
No, but they were willing to part with the talent.
They were willing to part with the talent because no matter what the cost was, or the cost being what it was, Sean Payton, I don't believe, thinks that he should be investing that type of money in that particular position, no matter how talented that safety is, unless you're talking about a Ronnie Lott type of player, an Ed Reed, so on and so forth. Yeah, and I don't think he looked at Simmons as that guy, even though he had all kinds of interceptions and was a terrific team leader.
Yeah, but my point would be more than, and yes, the money always factors into things, but the type of player and the type of safeties you wanted to have are also part of the equation. And Justin Simmons, as much as we loved Justin Simmons and still do, did not fit the role to the type of cover and physical presence that they wanted in that room. So be that as it may, now you've got a PJ Locke, a Devon Keys behind him, JL Skinner, who has had some anxious moments playing a couple of times. Yep. Billy in particular, it was a little bit interesting, but he's been a very good player on special teams this year. You've got some guys back there, Darian, Turner Yell. You've got some guys back there that have played some downs, and now you got to kind of mix and match and make it work. Hey, don't forget the last time that the Broncos beat the Packers, PJ Locke had the defining play in the game. He had the pickoff that sealed the win late in that game. So it hurts, but you're set up to handle it.
With that, Broncos have claimed running back Cody Schrader off of waivers from Houston. I'm sorry to mispronounce his name. No one's really pronounced his name that much in his NFL career. Only has one carry for 3 yards. But with that, they're bringing this guy in. He's played with multiple teams already this year, or at least has been on their roster. And one of the reasons you can make the case to bring him in is because nothing has been announced about RJ Harvey's rib injury. Do you think the move bringing in Schrader signals more there could be a problem with the rib injury for Harvey, or the Broncos are playing Jacksonville on Sunday, and Schrader did play for Jacksonville, and the coaches have been known to bring in a guy week of to grab a little bit of intel?
I mean, if that's the residual, I guess I would take it. I think the method to madness here is just making sure that you've got a bigger, stronger back in a stable of running backs that don't have that kind of size, in case you're going to be without RJ Harvey for a game or two. I haven't heard much stirring on that, on Harvey's injury, the extent of it. We'll find out soon enough. But I think that's more an insurance policy than it is anything else.
Here's the thing about a rib injury. Forget about getting hit.
Yeah.
Every time you breathe, it hurts.
It sucks. No question.
Yeah. So,
right.
Anyway, with that, if Harvey is gone for a little bit, we could talk about how big of a loss Brandon Jones would be. But I think there are some more than capable backups to fill a slot, even if it has to be for the rest of the season. If they lose Harvey, goodness gravy, what in the world are they going to go with moving forward? Because Jaleel, terrific story. Bidet, terrific story. But going into the playoffs without a guy that you can truly count on to get you those hard yards, you have put so much more on Nix. And I don't know if Nix needs to have more on him.
Yeah, that's a fair statement. They've been able to kind of cobble a running game together, but they're running out of pieces right now. And I don't know how much. Look, Tyler Bidet, I understand how they use Tyler Bidet. I don't know where the trust factor is in the running game with Bidet. Jaleel McLaughlin is a particular kind of back, and he's limited not by his willpower, not by his desire, but just the size or the lack of it that he brings to the position. So, it's a challenge, no question. And on top of it, Jacksonville is one of the best run defenses in the National Football.
No, they're the best run defense.
So you're talking about a team coming in that is suited to stop the run. It will put more onus on Bo Nix, no question.
Well, let me throw a couple of things out there. Let's start with this. Since Dobbins got injured, the Broncos are 4-0. Nix has completed 70% of his passes. That's second in the league over the last 4 games. Passing yards per game, he's 4th in the league, 283 yards passing per game. His passer rating is 99. That is 7th in the league. And the offense is top 10 in points and yards since week 10. So they have found a way to survive without J.K. Dobbins, putting more on Nix, putting more weight on his shoulders. My concern is how much more weight can he take? Because RJ Harvey was good enough and Nix's game has gone up, but now it would be even more. Now, let's get into, and you and I have had this conversation many times about how stats can totally be deceiving. Okay? So when you talk about an offense, when you are rated as an offense, it's not about points. It's about yards, because you can control the yards. You can't really control in terms of, how do I put this? When you rate an offense, well, what if you start with the ball as an offense in the red zone every single time? Okay? Right. You're going to be scoring a lot of points, but you're not going to be putting up a lot of yards.
Right.
And you're starting inside the other team's red zone for numerous reasons. 1, your defense stepped up. Number 2, your special team stepped up, so on and so forth. So it's funny. I had a conversation with Ryan O'Halloran, who now covers the Jaguars. He used to write for the Denver Post, and he was telling me how good their run defense is. So he said to me, yeah, they're terrific. They're the best in the league. And I said to him, I'll be honest, Ryan, I don't watch a lot of Jaguars football. I don't know many people that watch a lot of Jaguars football. I don't know how many people in Jacksonville watch a lot of Jaguars football,
right,
with the exception of this season. Historically, they really haven't, unless you want to bring up the Tom Coughlin years, but I digress. I said, looking at that number, the number of rushing yards they give up per game, which is like 86. I said, how many times has the other team been playing catch up? Meaning the Jags have a 2-score lead midway through the third quarter, throughout the majority of the fourth quarter. Other teams not going to run. They're going to be playing catch up, throwing the ball. So those numbers against the run are going to look considerably better. So did a little bit of research for you for this show.
Good.
The Jaguars have averaged 33 points per game since coming out of their bye week, which was in week 8. In 4 of the 5 games, Trevor Lawrence has been able to sit in the fourth quarter because the Jaguars had such a big lead. Do you think those rushing numbers for the Jacksonville defense has anything to do with it?
Yeah, I mean,
has a lot to everything to do with it. It doesn't mean they don't have a terrific run defense.
Right.
It just means they have had the advantage of not having to have their quarterback play in the fourth quarter because they've had such a big lead, and 9 out of every 10 snaps is going to be a pass play. So the rushing numbers are going to look pretty good.
How many yards per carry are they giving up?
Oh, I can look it up for you.
I'm kind of asking it just kind of.
I'll find out for you right now.
No, right.
You just keep talking, my friend. I'll have that for you because of the magic of the internet.
Right. Here's the thing. What Sean Payton does and has done and will continue to do is he uses his short passing game in first and second down,
right?
In lieu of a traditional running game. He's very good at that.
Yep.
And it's usually a high percentage throw that's not dangerous, and you're looking for those 4 to 5 yard chunks or little slivers that you can get on first or second down to help you in short yardage situations in third down. That's the whole goal. And I'm sure that we'll continue to see more of that. But this is a really good football team.
Yep.
Coming in. This is a 10-4 football team that is going to have something to say about, the postseason. And this is another, you better reload quickly kind of thing. There's not much time to sit around being satisfied about the way that you took on Green Bay and handled them. Good for you, but that needs to be another piece of the puzzle that you're putting together to go with into the postseason. Jacksonville is another very different piece of the puzzle. So I will be very interested to see how Sean Payton continues to move the pieces around. He's been nothing short of tremendous, spectacular this year, period. So we'll see. Can they get it done again? Can they move this thing to 13-2? The narrative is starting to turn on the Broncos now. I'll use your dynamic from a week ago, Eric. I just happened to notice last night, thumbing around a little bit, that the Broncos were number 1 in 3 or 4 different power ratings. And maybe we'll get to that at some point later this week. But we did talk about that last week, just from a standpoint of national narrative, national perspective. And maybe people are getting there kicking and screaming about the Broncos, but they're getting there slowly. Now is not the time to be satisfied. Now is the time to keep the foot on the pedal and finish this damn thing. Here's the irony of it all. What you have done all season long is what you need now to finish the season.
Right.
You have finished. You have finished games. At times, you finished them in miraculous fashion. Finish what you started with 3 weeks left.
Well, the Broncos have been great about finishing games all season offensively, but it's something they've been doing recently offensively that should give you a lot of hope marching into the final 3 games of the regular season and the playoffs. What have they done over the last 3 games to make you say, maybe this offense is turning the corner? We'll talk about that next.
Ever wondered where city and county fleet vehicles go when they retire? Now's your chance to find out and score big. Imagine driving away with a great deal on a reliable vehicle. For over 45 years, Roller Auction has been the trusted source for government fleet vehicles and equipment. Trucks, SUVs, sedans, and more, all selling to the highest bidder. Don't miss out. Visit roller.bid/hot takes to get auction updates today. Your next vehicle could be just a click away.
Everyone has their favorite barbecue spot. Mine, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew. My favorites, slowly smoked ribs, smoked corned beef Reuben, smoked meatloaf with a portobello balsamic cream sauce. Don't forget about Smokin' Dave's 16-hour smoked brisket and pork with one of their 4 homemade barbecue sauces. Great sides, you bet. Barbecue beans made with pork and brisket and their southern corn bake. Man, you gotta try it. Plus, they have amazing non-barbecue entrees on the menu. Go where I go, Smokin' Dave's Barbecue and Brew in North Denver.
Ferguson's Heating and Cooling is the best in Denver, and their customers agree. Ferguson's has 165 5-star Google reviews, and here's one from Betsy. Highly professional, prompt, and honest. I switched to Ferguson's when I became aware my former company was trying to sell me a whole new system I didn't need. Ferguson's is an honest, working, family-owned business that'll give you a fair price, the highest quality parts and equipment, and they always show up on time. You can trust the Ferguson family like you trust your own family. Go to fergusonsheatingandcooling.com.
Everyone has their favorite sports bar. Mine, the Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. All their locations are everything a sports bar should be. An upscale menu with 12 different burgers, outstanding wings, and my favorite, the Philly cheesesteak egg rolls. They've got every game on the NFL Sunday Ticket, MLB Extra Innings, NHL Center Ice, NBA League Pass, plus soccer, rugby, and UFC. Sportsbook, great hangout bar, great for private parties. The Sportsbook Bar and Grill in Highlands Ranch, DTC, and now in Parker. They are the sports bar.
Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos in Blackhawk have another incredible promotion. They'll be giving away a Ford Maverick Tremor truck or over $25,000 in cash the weekend of January 9th. Daily cash drawings are every 45 minutes between 10 a.m. and midnight. Players can earn daily entries with every locked-up jackpot or by redeeming players' points on their players' cards. Sasquatch and Wildcard Casinos, loose slots, great promotions, delicious food, and a family-owned casino that treats you like family.
And welcome back. Hot Takes, Goodman and Haertl. Time now for What's Trending.
What's trending on Hot Takes with Goodman and Haertl? Brought to you by Mile High Sports.
All right, Bruce. The Broncos offense has been inconsistent for most of the season. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. Specifically in the opening three quarters. Is that fair to say?
Even more fair.
Now let me throw some facts at you. They've averaged nearly 23 points per game in the opening three quarters in their last three games against the Packers, the Raiders, and the Commanders. Now, some people will look at the Packers game and say, well, what about Micah Parsons not being in there? I crunched some numbers just for fun. Micah Parsons went out of the game with 55 seconds to go in the third quarter with the Broncos driving and sitting at the Packers' 29-yard line. With Micah Parsons on the field during that particular series, the Broncos, with Parsons on the field, had already chewed up 41 yards to get to the Packers' 29-yard line. I understand they scored a touchdown with Parsons off the field, but against a very good defense, at least that's what we were told, at least that's what the statistics tell us, the Broncos in the second and third quarters scored 27 points. With that, and I understand as well that the Raiders and Commanders are not going to win any team defense awards this year.
Sure.
With that, has the offense finally turned the corner in the opening three quarters to go into the final three games and in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, 3 or 4 games, I think, probably becomes a trend. I mean, I don't think it's one-off at that particular point. You're talking about a good portion of your schedule, and they're scoring points at the end of it. So that's been good. I would say that they've certainly turned a corner. Or are they all the way to where they want to be in terms of efficiency, dynamic? No. Probably not. That's
even if you win the Super Bowl, you don't say that.
Right. You're always a work in progress, right?
Correct.
Yeah, you're always a work in progress. But just the way that Bo Nix has now moved into the next layer and the next level of where he is and how he is playing this season, moving the ball around, finding different receivers, his comfort. If last week was any indication, his comfort in the pocket, he was very firm in the pocket. He climbed the ladder. He stayed comfortable and made plays from the pocket, and then also made plays moving around. All of that is trending in the right direction, and it's producing some pretty good results.
I would agree.
Yeah.
With that, per Fanatics Sportsbook, and there are a lot of different sports books out there. You can go to DraftKings or FanDuel, so on and so forth, and everyone is slightly different. I'm going to go by Fanatics. That just happens to be the service that I use, and I just happen to look it up. Okay? Broncos are the favorites to win the AFC, according to Fanatics. But the Bills have the best odds to win the Super Bowl out of the AFC. Square that circle for me.
Yeah, I don't think there is any squaring it other than they've been there before. They've had success. Now, they haven't been to a Super Bowl.
Right.
Right. So
is Josh Allen really a winner?
I mean, well, I like him.
I mean, I love him.
I know you do too. But
but when we talk about a guy's a winner,
right.
he has won something. He's a great player. No reasonable person. You know what? Josh Allen, while their games are different, was Matt Stafford not a winner when he played for Detroit?
Yeah.
Technically, he wasn't.
No.
But he was a terrific quarterback. He was just kind of with the wrong team.
Yeah.
I think Josh Allen's with the right team. But no, he has never had to – he's never lost a Super Bowl because he's never been to one. But I was talking to my aunt yesterday.
Yeah.
Who's a huge Bills fan. And I said, well, at least this year, you don't have to climb through Mahomes, Jackson, and Burrow. You got no excuses this year.
Right. No.
And now you have to deal with a couple of young guys. Trevor Lawrence isn't young, and Bo Nix. Now you got to get through the younger guys in this league.
And you may have to come to altitude in Denver to do it. I mean, it may very well work out that way. Different time, different place. No question about it. I think that bit of odds making has more to do with the fact that Buffalo's the one familiar team in the mix. When you look at the range of teams that are alive in the AFC this year, the Bills are the one team that popped their heads to the surface as, oh yeah, we've seen them before. And they have an MVP running that football team. But to your point, though, let's remember what Josh Allen has done to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the regular season. But how does that look in the postseason? It's been totally flipped around, and that's part of the problem. The Bills have not been able to replicate their regular season success in the postseason. Most of that is because of Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who are no longer around to defend themselves.
I mean, think about this for a second when it comes to doing the odds. 2-3 weeks ago, who was the favorite to win the AFC West? The Chiefs.
Chiefs, yeah.
The Chiefs.
Right.
It's as if you just can't let go of what you've seen in the past, so I'm going to bet on what I've seen in the past, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Chiefs have always been able to do it. So until not a bucket of water is thrown on the Wicked Witch of the West, you dunk her in the pool with a brick tied to her leg, so she's completely surrounded by water and she dies. That has to happen. They have to be gone in order to say they're done.
Yeah, those types of teams earn that type of credibility that takes a little – it's kind of like a 2-mile long train. It takes time for them, even once they hit the brakes, to kind of stop. You end up going a whole bunch further down the line, right? Yeah. That's kind of what this is like. I mean, it will catch up with them eventually, and it has caught up with them eventually. How good would it have been to have put a few bucks down on the Broncos 4 weeks ago to win the West, because you would have gotten pretty good numbers probably at that point, right? I mean,
well, a buddy of mine put on $1,000 on the Broncos at the beginning of the season.
Wow!
I think that's 17-1.
Wow.
Uh-huh.
Well, that's really prescient. I mean, that's really looking ahead. Yeah, absolutely. Well, our buddy Troy Rank picked the Broncos to win the division. He did. I mean,
I'm talking about to get to the Super Bowl, 17-1 odds.
Oh,
that's what he has
to get to the Super Bowl.
To get to the Super Bowl,
that's a still pretty good number, and I like his chances.
Yeah, put down 1,000 to win 17,000.
God.
Not bad.
Good for him.
Right. Record says yes. You believe the Broncos are the best team in football?
Are they the best team in football?
Well, record-wise, they are. So are they the best team in football?
Who would you take ahead of them by such an appreciable margin that you would say, no, they're not? I think you can look at the Rams, the Seahawks, and the Seahawks teetered a little bit this last weekend at home against a 44-year-old quarterback. But
every
you know what?
team teeters a couple of games.
That's
I'm not
exactly right.
I'm not going to hold it against them one game.
And you can't. And
Right.
you can't do it.
Right.
I would say they are one of 3 teams in that conversation, and I wouldn't blush if you said the Broncos are the best team in the NFL right now.
Depending on how the playoffs go, if the Broncos make it to the Super Bowl, when I say the playoffs, I mean for the Broncos. Let's say they have another couple of close games. Let's say they get the top seed. They win the divisional game, another mile-high magical moment.
Yeah.
Same thing happens in the AFC Championship game. I think that the NFC winner, whether it is the Rams specifically or the Seahawks, the Broncos will be touchdown underdogs.
Touchdown underdog.
Yes, depending on how the playoffs unfold.
Yeah,
because the NFC, to me, is better this year.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the 1980s, where to me it really didn't matter who came out of the AFC.
Yeah.
They didn't have to go through the buzzsaw of the 49ers,
Agreed.
then the Redskins,
Yeah.
the Giants, or the Bears.
Right.
And people don't like when I say this because I understand this is a Denver audience. In the 1980s, if the Broncos played in the NFC, they would not have gone to one single Super Bowl. Because A, they got drilled in every Super Bowl that they went to, but then they'd have to play earlier games against teams that were, I don't want to say better than them, but going through that gauntlet of Joe Gibbs and Bill Parcells and Walsh, and then the Bears for a couple of years. Broncos are not getting out of that dance party alive.
I think that a lot can happen in the next 5 games, and I'll leave it at 5 because I think that's where it's going to be. I do think the Broncos are going to be the top seed in the AFC. They will have the first round bye. They will play 4 of their next 5 games at home, 2 to finish off the regular season, and at least one. Hopefully 2 at home in the postseason for a chance to get to.
Well, let's take a step back, Bruce.
Sure.
Have they gotten the gift of gifts on Christmas? No Mahomes. In order to clinch the number 1 seed. I know it's on the road, but let's be honest here. Chiefs season is over. Well, let's see mentally how the Chiefs come out in their next game without Mahomes.
Right. Who knows, right? I mean, it certainly compromises the Chiefs greatly. Probably not as much as 6-8 compromises the Chiefs greatly. In that you're a 6-8 football team, you're playing out the string, you are used to being in the hunt and in the tournament. You are no longer there this year. We don't know how they're going to react. It's a prideful group, but they're also 6-8, and they don't have Patrick Mahomes anywhere. So I don't know how they're going to be in 2 weeks. It wouldn't surprise me to see them play with a little pushback, especially against a division opponent that has something to play for. I get it. I mean, the Broncos would do the same thing if positions were reversed. They'd play them hard, I'm sure. But we'll just have to wait and see how it all plays out. Look, if you take care of business this week, then you are sitting there with a game, essentially a game and a half lead over the Patriots because you own the tiebreaker and you're one up in the win column against them. And you've got the Chargers coming in. If you win this week, you've got basically 2 chances to clinch home field advantage. So they cannot be in a better position than they are right now, period.
Just for fun, we'll talk about it later in the week. Do you remember what the Jaguars did to the Chargers recently?
Well, I remember what they did in their last playoff game.
No, I'm talking about earlier this season.
Yeah.
They held the Chargers, I think, to something like 155 yards.
Yep.
The Chargers. How many wins they have? 10?
Yeah.
Jacksonville's for real.
Oh, this is beyond a capable team. This is a team you better respect in the same way that you respected and got ready for Green Bay. Although
this Jacksonville team that is playing really well and one of the best teams in the AFC, they had the misfortune of having to play the Rams and the Seahawks this year.
Yeah.
As we just talked about, which division is better? Specifically at the top, Jaguars lost both of those games.
Absolutely. There's work to be done. No question about it.
That's going to do it for us. Hot Takes Goodman and Haertl. Make it the best possible day you can.